Policy. It is a policy of the Superior Court to assure that qualified individuals with disabilities have full and equal access to the Superior Court system's services, programs, and activities. Request for accommodation. The Superior Court provides reasonable accommodations upon request to qualified individuals with disabilities who require accommodation to fully and equally participate in court services, programs, and activities. Requests for accommodation can be submitted by completing the form available on the Superior Court's website. Completed forms can be submitted to the ADA coordinator or courtroom staff. You will need to fill out your name, email, and phone number. Then select if you are a witness, juror, attorney, party, or other. Continue with your mailing address, case name and number, type and dates of proceedings, accommodations needed, and any special requests. Then print your name and sign the document. Please give the completed form to courtroom staff or submit it to the address listed on the form. Requests for accommodations should be submitted at least 10 days prior to any scheduled judicial proceeding, service, program, or activity. If there are fewer than 10 days before any scheduled judicial proceeding, service, program, or activity, contact the ADA coordinator immediately. If you are unable to complete and submit the form, contact the ADA coordinator for an alternative means of requesting an accommodation. The ADA coordinator may ask for additional relevant information where it would be helpful in responding to the request for accommodations. The ADA coordinator will provide a timely response to the request for accommodation and notify the requesting individual whether the requested accommodation will be provided. This will be done in writing unless the short lead time of a request precludes written notice. If the requesting individual is dissatisfied with the response to the request, the individual may file a complaint using the grievance procedures. Every effort shall be made to meet the specific needs of the individual. Reasonable accommodations may include furnishing, at no charge, to qualified individuals with disabilities, auxiliary aids and services, which are not limited to equipment, devices, materials in alternative formats, and qualified interpreters or readers, and making each service, program, or activity, when viewed in its entirety, readily accessible to and usable by qualified individuals with disabilities requesting accommodations. The Superior Court is not required to make modifications that would fundamentally alter the service, program, or activity or cause undue financial or administrative burden. An alternative accommodation may be offered if equally effective. When a qualified individual with a disability requires an auxiliary aid or service to ensure effective communication, he or she may request the auxiliary aid or service of his or her choice. The Superior Court gives primary consideration to the choice expressed by the individual. Primary consideration means that the Superior Court will honor the choice unless it can show that another equally effective means of communication is available, or that use of the means chosen would result in 1. A fundamental alteration in the nature of its service, program, or activity, or 2. An undue financial or administrative burden. When the preferred type of auxiliary aid or service is not available or will not be provided, the ADA coordinator or designee will consult with the requesting individual and will ascertain whether an alternative means of communication will ensure effective communication. The ADA coordinator may ask the requesting individual for additional relevant information where additional relevant information would be helpful in responding to the request for accommodation. Grievance procedure. Any user of the Superior Court system who believes that he or she has been subject to discrimination by the Superior Court based on a disability can pursue a complaint through the Superior Court's grievance procedures. These grievance procedures do not in any way limit other legal remedies that may be available. The Superior Court's grievance procedures apply to those qualified individuals with a disability who, with or without reasonable modifications to rules, policies, or practices, the removal of barriers, or the provision of auxiliary aids or services, meet the essential eligibility requirements for services, programs, or activities. Filing a complaint. Any individual who believes that he or she has been treated by the Superior Court system in a discriminatory manner as a result of a disability may file a complaint with the presiding judge. Complaints must be filed in writing using the available grievance form within 60 days from the alleged discrimination. You will need to fill out your name, address, telephone number, and nature of your disability. Then the division or court, location, and date and time of the alleged discrimination. Then describe in what way you believe you have been denied a benefit, service, program, or activity of the Superior Court, and provide any information about the Superior Court employees involved in the incident. Complaints submitted through the grievance procedure will be investigated by the ADA coordinator, and the findings will be presented to the presiding judge or to a designated judge for determination. To provide the judge with sufficient information, you are asked on the grievance form to describe the event as specifically as possible. You should include the names of anyone who can assist in the investigation. Include a copy of any papers you have that relate to the complaint or that may be of help in understanding your complaint. Be sure to send copies of the documents and keep originals for your files. The completed grievance form should be submitted to the ADA coordinator. Any individual who requires assistance in filling out the grievance form may contact the ADA coordinator. Investigation. Within 2 weeks of receiving the grievance form, the ADA coordinator will send a letter to the grievant acknowledging receipt of the grievance. Complaints will be investigated promptly unless you are notified otherwise. In some cases, the investigation will include interviews with other individuals, including those you name in your grievance form, and an examination of relevant documents and files. Findings and determination. Within 45 days of the receipt of the grievance form by the ADA coordinator, a determination should be issued by the presiding judge or other designated judge. Copies of the determination will be sent to the grievant and to anyone against whom allegations have been made. The determination will include, if appropriate, a remedy. For example, if it is determined that the grievant was treated in a discriminatory manner, possible remedies may include a change in policy or local practices or appropriate disciplinary action. Appeal. If you disagree with the determination, an appeal may be filed within 30 days of the date of the determination by submitting a letter for reconsideration to the presiding judge of the Superior Court. The letter should be submitted to the ADA coordinator. The letter should set out the reasons why you disagree with the determination and the remedy you believe is appropriate. The presiding judge or other designated judge should make a final determination within 30 days of the date the letter was received, based upon a complete review of the evidence. Copies of the final determination will be sent to the grievant and to anyone against whom the allegations were made. The final determination may confirm the earlier determination, modify the earlier determination, modify the remedy, or reverse the earlier determination. Implementation. The presiding judge or other designated judge has the responsibility for implementing the final determination. If you have any questions about implementation, you can check with the ADA coordinator. Time limits. All of the offices involved in the resolution of complaints through this grievance process will try to comply with the stated time limits. However, strict compliance is not always possible due to, for example, the absence of important witnesses, or the need for additional information from the grievant, or the need to complete an unusually complex investigation. Whenever possible, the grievant will be notified about delays. Retaliation is prohibited. The Superior Court will not discriminate against any individual because that individual has opposed any act or practice made unlawful by Title II of the ADA, or because that individual made a charge, testified, assisted, or participated in any manner in an investigation, proceeding, or hearing under Title II of the ADA. The Superior Court will not coerce, intimidate, threaten, or interfere with any individual in the exercise or enjoyment of, or on account of his or her having exercised or enjoyed, or on account of his or her having aided or encouraged any other individual in the exercise or enjoyment of any right granted or protected by Title II of the ADA. Federal and state human rights agencies. An individual may file a claim of discriminatory treatment based upon disability in the services, programs, or activities of the Superior Court with an outside agency, even while a grievance is pending, using the Superior Court's grievance procedures. Time limits for filing disability discrimination claims with outside agencies may be different than the time limits for filing a complaint with the Superior Court. Be sure to check with the outside agency for its filing deadlines.